Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
Such fantastic advice, actually. This is very, very good advice. I would take it, or maybe not. Don't get a band. This is the Unfinished Sympathy. This, you don't know how much I wanted to have this band with us. It's amazing. These guys are so good, and we have Eric, who's a songwriter and singer with us. Eric.
Hi.
Hey.
Hola.
Hola.
I'm here in Barcelona. Well, not really Barcelona. I just moved closer to Girona, on northern Catalonia.
Fantastic.
And here I am at my new country house.
Country house. I love it. That's the best choice. Eric is such a talented musician, playing for decades already with the Unfinished Sympathy. And I love this band, I gotta tell you. This band is world-class level type of band. Incredible. They're really, really good. He's gonna talk to us about his experience and being a rock musician. And introduce yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about you, your experience.
Okay. Let's say I'm a music producer and performer and songwriter. Into, let's say, pop rock, but not all pop rock, mainly aggressive rock and synth pop. I've been playing since I was 14, and I started in my high school with a crossover metal band called Mad Squad, until I was like 20, and then I did my first solo record, which was a indie rock album recorded in my room with a lead track recorder in Barcelona, and I think I was 21, and then I was performing with that record until year 2000, when I started with the Unfinished Sympathy, which was a more emo band. And we were in Barcelona, surrounded by other bands who were doing the same. So we find like a good atmosphere to develop a band, and when we could do it, and it was quite successful until 2010. And meanwhile, and after that, I've been doing productions and solo records until today. So that's a little bit my history.
Your background. Well, I gotta say to the audience that Eric has been really humble here, because the success he's reached, it's really great. It's really great. And that band that you're talking about, you're successful until 2010s. I think successful until today, right? You just released this latest single, "Don't Get a Band," for the original soundtrack of a documentary, right? Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, that's the ultimate musical move, let's say, which is releasing an old song. Really, we recorded a song that was never released. I think that was last year. Someone talked to me about a documentary they were making on the figure of DJ Amable, which is a very famous DJ here in Barcelona from the venue Razzmatazz. He liked our music, and he included music in his sessions, and they asked us for a music track, and instead of giving something already released, we gave him an unreleased song. And it's a song that I like it, but if you listen to it carefully, it's a mix of Scorpions and Bad Religion. And you'll find why if you listen to the lyrics and listen carefully to the music.
Okay, it's a little nugget there to look into. Fantastic, I love it.
In fact, this lyric is about is like an old rocker that is retiring and is telling to a younger one, don't make a band, don't form a band, right. Don't start a band, better get a job, because otherwise you're gonna work for fuel. Because that was very frustrating, especially when touring, to see that all of the benefits you get from the door money and merchandising goes into fuel to feed the van. And that was an image that, well, a bit astonishing to me, and I did this like really pessimistic song, and no, it says something. I refuse to abuse. No, there's a Bad Religion song called, what was it? I refuse to abuse. Na, 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 along the way. And there's something, copied from there. And then the Scorpions one is a ballad. Is Send Me an Angel from what was the record? Crazy World, or the previous one. I don't know. Here I am, won't you send me an angel? Here, well, yeah, there's that connection.
I love it. I love to have you here. And by the way, all these culture, you told me, is from a record collection that you inherited.
Well, yes. I mean, I personally, I'm a record collector. I've always been, but I learned a lot from my father's record collection, because when I was born, my father had a good job in a laboratory, in a scientific laboratory, and he spent money on records, so he had a cool vinyl collection, and he had younger workers with him at the laboratory who were very like modern and cool at the time. And they gave him recommendations. So, for instance, the Joy Division records were released, I think that was 79, 80, 81 in Spain. And I was 5 or 6. And those records got into my house. And so I listened to them. And on, I think it was 86, there was Sonic Youth. There was Jesus and Mary Chain, all the Smiths records. I mean, besides the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Yes and Pink Floyd and all of those records, there was like modern stuff, and I was very, very young when I listened to this. So probably when I was older, I developed my own taste, and it was more into metal and punk and hardcore. Besides the 80s pop. I always loved, like Depeche Mode or New Order, this kind of band I love. And then I had my own taste, let's say, like that, from when I was a teenager, and that was like the niche I've been swimming all around, and since then, because I've always been a musician in the let's say hard rock, hard guitar, I don't know how to call it, powerful guitar rock side of music. So that's where I am,
That's an incredible story. It's such a blast, right? To have access to that type of record collection from such a young age, and help you form your own and develop your own taste over the years.
Exactly.
And also that's how you learned as well to pronounce in your English as well, right?
Yes, because I've always been like I've always loved different languages. The fact that in the world there are so many different languages is a very interesting thing. All of the relationships within them and between them, and and yeah, there's like a rational interest in languages, but there's also something inside my brain that it's easy to deal with languages. So when I was a kid, I learned French because I have cousins there, and of course here in Spain everybody learns Catalan and Spanish, and well, in Catalonia, I mean in Barcelona, and then. I mean, French was from my family, but not English wasn't from my family. But all this huge collection of records was full of titles and lyrics in English. For imagine you're I don't know, maybe a 3-year-old kid in the year 78 or something like that, and I'm not sure the year of the album, but there's a record by Queen called News of the World. And the vinyl is a gatefold cover, and if you open it, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. The draw that there's a painting of a giant and the members of the band falling from I can't remember exactly how it is, but it's so beautiful. And if you're a 3-year-old kid, you'll watch that gatefold cover, but in that gatefold cover says Queen. So you want to know what Queen means. Right. So I asked. I don't know how I discovered that what does Queen mean, but yeah, I started to learn a lot of English by titles, by names of the band. I mean not precisely reading the lyrics, because that happened much later when I was maybe 13. Or maybe 12 or something like that. Yeah, I started to read lyrics, but when I was a kid I didn't read lyrics. But you learn a lot by I want to hold your hand. What I want to hold your hand. If you're a 5-year-old, and you're interested in that, you'll find out what does mean. What does that mean?
What it means, yeah.
And that's what I did. So yeah, I can say from that record collection I learned both. Music and lyrics, we could say like that. Yes,
I agree. I think it makes you also. It's such a mysterious world, because you're trying to open a new way of thinking in your brain, right? It's
yeah,
and it's mysterious. It's like magical. The more that you understand, the more banal or more earthly probably becomes, but at the time in the moment that you're learning, it's so mysterious and so out of this world.
Yeah, I hear a father speaking. Isn't that right? Maybe you've seen that in your toddlers.
That's right. I don't know if you want to mention that the fatherhood in your life now. Thank you so much to Eric. He's making an exception because he just recently became a father, right? So you're so busy.
Yeah, between diaper and diaper, I talk to people about rock and roll. Yeah, that's my new life. I used to have a record called Rock for Food. Now it's Rock for Diapers. That's more fun. Yeah.
That's fantastic. By the way, going back to that, I think you masterfully interweave your titles, your names, in your lyrics. It's very this cat. Some of the phrases that you used are burned in my memory. There's one that I really love is what was that? Keep head beating to acquire head beat resistance or something like that.
Oh yeah,
that one, I love that one.
Hey, that says a lot from what you have got, or you found the right lyric, I think, because I love that sentence too, and I've always thought that it's one of the most interesting things that has gone into my mind, because it's like what was it? What did this? Beat my head against the wall to acquire head beat resistance.
Yeah. I love it. I love that one.
At which point, what's the balance between what you what you get from learning, or maybe is it better to be an ignorant, or or there are some things that just can be learned by pain, or I don't know, a combination of things that were into my mind. I remember exactly the moment that I wrote the lyrics. That was I was on tour with another band, not as an artist, let's say. I was like a friend dash tour manager with Tokyo Sex Destruction.
Okay.
And they were playing in a festival in Zaragoza, and that was late hours. That was a lot of drinking, a lot of tiredness. And I was at the merchandising place. I don't know who was performing, and I started to be like to have like my artist moments, and I took my notebook and my pen and started to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write some lyrics, and it worked well. Yeah, I don't know how it came, but it was late at night and a lot of not party, but we were very tired, and maybe that sentence came from that tiredness. I don't know.
Yeah, I think all of them, I believe, they're brilliant, really, really good. But that one stuck with me. There's another one that I always go back to. In many situations, it was the very end. You almost cannot hear it because all the noise, like the song is becoming crazy, and you say something like, "Rockstar, better be a doctor." I love that one. I love that one. Really,
well,
really nice.
that's exactly what happened with my parents when I was a kid. I wanted to be in a rock band, and they said that was so even though my father was a rock fan, he didn't want me to be. I mean, he didn't believe or think that I could make anything related to music, but. So my parents thought that I was losing my time and I was going the wrong way and the evil way, and I shouldn't be all day long playing guitar. I should like invest in a good universe. A title at a degree at the university. Yeah, degree. And my father is a biochemist, my mother is a biologist, so they couldn't. They assumed that I had to be another scientist in the family. So when I said that I wanted to pick up a guitar, an electric guitar, and do that thing, that blew their minds off, absolutely. But that didn't only happen when I was like 14 or 15. That happened. It still happens now. Talking about parents and son, my mother still thinks that I still should like forget about music. And now that I'm an almost old guy, now maybe that would be the right time to find the way to do the right thing, which would be doing something related to my university studies.
Wow.
So it's still the same. That's a bit ridiculous, but that's where it's like that.
Up to this day. Well, I can offer you another perspective. You've created wealth of culture and legacy that your records can be heard and can be listened to long after you're not in this world and miles away, and that's you. That's your legacy. That's your spirit. That's what you created, and that's your work that will speak in your name for, I don't know, forever, and will inspire people like me and like many others. Yeah, I felt so inspired. So many of your songs and what you did, and I'm sure there's thousands upon thousands of people that feel the same way. I don't think you wasted your time whatsoever. I also really like how I think, I don't remember the song exactly, it might be Rockford Food as well. You introduced the name of your band and finished and Sympathy in two different verses, two different verses of the verse.
Yeah.
Which
Wow,
song was that? Do you remember?
That was I had heard a couple of bands doing that, and that was precisely Bad Religion. I'm trying to remember the song. There's one song when Greg Graffin, like auto uses bits of other Bad Religion songs to do that. And after I did the same trick, which is to me that was just a simple trick, like a cheeky thing. I don't know. Nothing special, but I heard, and lately I listened to it again. There's a Megadeth, the thrash metal band song. I don't know the name, merda, but it's 100% made of bits of other lyrics, which is like, yeah, I find it's okay, but it makes sense. But the guy always talks about the same subjects and uses the same. I mean, as all songwriters we do, and he's a genius. But yeah, he can make a song from bits of other songs, and like verse from the first verse is from one song from 1986, second verse is from another song from 1998, and so on. And he writes all the lyrics like that, and I think that's really genius. And I'm sure there are hundreds of other cases of like using your own words in a new lyric.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I got a couple points for you to tell. When you release a record and you are working with these royalty collection agencies, right? So what they recommend to do is that you give your record the name of one of your songs, because that increases the possibilities of collect more royalties for that particular song that's in that record, right? So that's one advice for anybody that can use this advice. And
it's exactly what, using the name of your band for a song? No. What you said for a record?
For your record, you use the name of one song. Let's say that is going to be the main single, and that's the one that is going to be played over and over. So you use that for the name of your record. So that's the recommendation.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Yes.
Yeah. So that's one, and it might be some of that there, but all of these lyrics are so inspired. I love the one. I think there's. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this because I read that you used to write the lyrics like this song the night before going to record the vocals, right?
Yeah.
And I think the way that it was written in the article, it was like, this person from your band was like, he should be giving it a little bit more thought. Is that true?
Well, honestly, none. I mean, I can't remember of a member of the band who had a minimum interest in my lyrics. At least in the Unfinished Sympathy. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I remember one time when Uriol Casanovas is the guitar player. He sent me some messages about beats that he had found, and he was very. I mean, he's the only one that has some interest, but I don't think any other does. So I do what I want, and nobody cares.
So
that's the truth.
Tell me about that. Is it easy for you? I'll tell you how it is for me. So the way that it is for me, I hear it. A lot of the times when I am songwriting, I am just improvising, and I have no idea what I'm saying. But then when
I love that. Well, yeah.
When I go back to it, I start hearing the words. They're just there. They're almost there. Is that the same? Is that the case?
The truth is it's very close to that, and like some kind of automatic writing, but automatic singing.
Yeah.
I've done it. I mean, when I my process is as follows. I have ideas that, for example, an investment in logistics, an improvement in sophistics. That's something that one day I just got that.
I love that, by the way. I love that title.
Yeah, but for example, I wrote all the song after that. I mean, sometimes there's a bit. I'm walking down the street like normal thing, and a couple of an idea comes to my mind, and matches with another idea that I had the day before, and I remember, so they match, so they make something new, and that's just a simple seed that then when I see it and try to write, guides all the song, the lyric of the song. And so I use beats, and then what I do the day before singing is maybe developing the rest of the song. I've done it so many times because I'm very lazy. I'm not a natural writer. I'm a maker of, I'm a machine gun of short ideas. I'm very like prolific in having ideas, and I have a lot of. I've never been able to write a novel, but I could write a book made of bits, like I don't know in English how do you call it, but like that would be like the aforismos. Aforismos. Un aforismo is like when the rain goes down, the spirit gets higher. Okay. So that's something that just got you spit, like something you spit. That's what I think that means aforismo. Maybe I'm I'm absolutely wrong, which could be. But what I mean is that for me there's an easy part, which is having short, straight to the point ideas, and new and imaginative, and something that makes you maybe smile, or this kind of single arrows. But then I'm very lazy developing, and I don't enjoy it especially. Like I'm very very quick when I work in music and in lyrics. I mean, I'm not relaxed at all. I'm not, hey, I take my time at all. No, I'm very like anxious working. So because I want to do nothing and think, which is what I like to do. So I don't have the time to do the other things. And well, I'm very like that. And as I say, I take a little time to develop it at the studio, which is the place to work. So okay, I'm in the studio. I'm gonna take some time to write the lyrics. Because I haven't done it before, and that's it, and that's my and there's another factor that maybe doesn't appear in your case, but as you told me, you're multilingual, so maybe I mean, one thing that I've heard like a stone on my back for the fact of being Catalan is that I never know. I'm never sure if I want to sing in English because that's what I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
In Catalan because that's my mother tongue, or in Spanish because that's another huge cultural influence on me. So every time I hear on my mind like a vocal melody, like for example, I put some fake lyrics on it. For example, I say wachu wachu. I say independent tenic in the phone, and then I see this independent when it can cano. If it sounds more English, so I'd say if I can, it never gonna follow. Or maybe it sounds more Spanish, and si me caigo luego me levanto. Or in Catalan, no recordo cómo va la vida. Yo qué sé, I don't know. And
That's
then
fantastic.
I spend all of my time deciding which is the best of the three options.
Oh, wow.
And that means do I have to bring this song to the Catalan musical market, which is absolutely different than the Spanish, or the international, which is what I'll never reach, but I'd love to reach. So
Well, never say never. First of all, never say. I know you went to the BBC. Do you want I think that was incredible. Do you want to tell us about that anecdote?
Oh yeah. We were like chosen by a very good, by one of the most important DJs in Great Britain's rock history, who's John Peel, and he had a show. He discovered Pink Floyd, the Smiths, and he invited us to make a session because that was the first Spanish band that he ever had in at the BBC studios, and yeah, and that's something that we've used it with the band like like a like a flagship or something like that I mean we're the Spanish band who went to the BB to the Bill session and recorded Bill sessions.
I think that's just by itself says a lot about what I was saying at the beginning, right? So the quality of what you put together with that, especially with that band, that's what I'm more familiar with, right?
Uh-huh.
It was amazing. It is amazing. It is a legacy. We'll always be there.
Thank you.
Like I said, it
Thank you. I'm flattered by your words, and I'll sleep happier tonight. I promise.
Oh, come on!
And
So you say that to everybody, I'm sure.
no. But I mean, I really appreciate your words. I honestly do. That's it.
I am blessed to have been able to talk to maybe at this point, for sure, hundreds of bands around the world, really. You know, from Germany, Italy, Spain, many of them, and here in the United States, right? South America too.
Yeah.
Many places. Really, the music you put out is like I said, is world class. It's absolutely fantastic. I really wish that everybody would go and listen to the Unfinished Sympathy and to Eric Fuentes.
Yes. Oh,
fantastic.
Wish they did.
And so Eric, I'm mindful of your time. You said before this was your limit of time. The last question and I would talk with you forever, that's for sure. But I want to be mindful. You gotta go back to your fatherhood and your daily tasks.
But don't worry, we can do a part two whenever you want. There's no problem, because I like to speak. I'm not a very talkative person, but when it's about music, I am. I definitely am. So I could be talking about music for hours and for days. Yeah. So please, go on.
I love it. Fantastic. And well, I wanted to ask you, right? So just the last two words. Normally, I ask about the present projects and the near future projects. That I would like to ask you, what do you concentrate on in these days? What would you like to focus on, in the near future? Tell me about that.
Yeah. Every time, as I said at the beginning, I like to produce music. I mean, just to be creative. I mean, I love to perform music live, and I love to I mean, to write, and then the more artistic side of it. I need the three parts, and every time that I try to skip one, or to decide that, hey, I'm too old to perform, I'm only gonna focus on songwriting and producing, then I enter in a depression. And the same that I say, hey, I don't want to produce other projects anymore, because maybe I don't like what I'm doing at a certain point with certain bands, and I have a crisis, and I decide that I don't want to work as a producer anymore. And so I want to do the three, and I keep on performing. Lately I'm performing myself solo with just guitar and me, and then we are bit by bit. I mean, getting better, not getting better, but getting more gigs with a band that includes music from the Unfinished Sympathy and from my solo records.
Beautiful.
So it's like a way so I can play what I want without having to stop thinking if this is the Unfinished Sympathy, or this is my solo album, or this is in English, or this is in Spanish, or this is for what market, or for whatever. It's just I play what I want. I mix all the songs as I want, and that's what I'm doing with a live performance called Eric Fuentes Presenta Unfinished y El Mal, which is Unfinished Sympathy, and El Mal, which is my solo band.
Okay.
And I'm also producing some interesting things that maybe we can talk about later. And and writing, I'm still writing, but as I said, I just write not when inspiration comes, but when, like in a very random way. So yeah, I still have my my notebook full of ideas and my digital recorder full of demos. So yeah, still working in more new stuff, of course, always.
Wonderful. Well, I really love to hear about it. I would love to be able to listen to all the new stuff that you have under your belt. And for sure, I think once you're back, that you're more you have more time. I would love to do a second part to focus more on your side of producer, as a producer. I think that would be
great.
Very, very interesting.
Oh yeah, I'd love that too. Yeah, of course, whenever you want.
Thank you. So, all right. So the last question I have is, what advice would you give to your younger self? Let's say that you go back to your 18, 21-year-old self. What kind of advice would you give?
Hard to say. When I work with really young bands, I've worked with some bands that their parents, not directly, but parents paid me to produce music for their 14-year-old kid that wanted to have a band. So I've been many times in the situation as a producer of thinking, what would I say? What would I say to these guys that I would have loved to listen to when I was like them? So what you're asking me, and there's so many things. I mean, while I'm speaking, I'm trying to think about one, but there's so many things. This is such a complex art, the art of making a song, a rock song or a pop song, or having a rock band, that I'm not sure one single thing that I'd say, but there's one thing, like I call it the 3 Ds. Maybe I'm not sure if I'm gonna remember them. Mm-hmm. It's like saying what would them? That was I had it. I wrote it in a paper the other day. Let me find it.
Sure.
I thought, oh, this is like a very good summary of. But I won't. No.
We're gonna hear the 3 Ds. Perfect advice.
The 3 Ds is You'll understand when I say it. It's like the 3 R's from recycle. This kind of concept. Yeah?
Okay.
Yes. Look. The 3 Ds. But it's not only for a music band, but for any project, because this idea was for another project with another rock band. But it's devotion, determination, and dedication.
That's.
First is devotion. You can have a rock band if you only like a little bit rock, or you're into that because, a friend of yours. You can be in a good band, but you won't be the one who leads that good band if you have no devotion and you just do it because it's cool to do it or whatever. You may be lucky and maybe part of a project who someone else is carrying on his shoulders, and that person is the one who has the devotion.
Right.
And then the determination, which is making things work and not being lazy and having ideas clear and doing them. And then dedication, which is like breathing music. If you want to be a musician, if you want to be a gardener, you have to breathe plants. If you want to be a musician, you have to breathe music. You can be a half-time, the things that are vocational. The work that it's not. It's a work that you really have chosen. It's not. I work for the money, whatever I do. No, for the people who want to work and have a success in their profession, in the thing that they choose because they love that. The 3 Ds to me are the most important: devotion, determination, and dedication. And that's it. That's my lesson for the 14-year-old kid. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's fantastic advice. I think it's one of the best ones that I've gotten. Devotion, determination, dedication. Absolutely, 100% right. In agreement with you. Fantastic. Really good. Really good advice. Okay, like I said, Eric, this has been a dream for me. This guy is you gotta go and listen to all his music. It's incredible. It's world class. I'm not tired of saying it. Eric Fuentes, the Unfinished Sympathy. What was the name of your solo band? Say it again.
Of my metal band? My solo band. Yeah. It's Eric Fuentes and El Mal.
El Mal.
El Mal is like the Spanish translation for the evil.
Evil. El Mal. Okay, I got it. Again, thank you so much. It's been a really pleasure. And I take the word from you. Once you're less busy with your fatherhood and your new child, newborn, let's connect again. We'll talk about production side. Lovely. Thank you again, Eric. Okay. And I'm gonna leave you guys with a little bit of the Unfinished Sympathy. This is "Don't Get a Band." Don't get a.
Oh yeah, don't get a band. Get a job.
All right. To the next one.
Advice for the young and growing. Don't live just to attend. You can waste all your life just rolling, or you can choose where to bend.
Attention independent musicians. Want to start selling your merchandise and records? Look no further than Leerecs online store. We offer the lowest fees in the market for printing and manufacturing your physical and digital media. From vinyl records to CDs, posters to t-shirts, we've got you covered. Join the Leerecs family today, and let us help you reach your fans with high-quality merch and music. Visit Leerecs.com to get started. Leerecs, where your music meets the world.
Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.